New show called Meet the Entertainer via Magiclatinosvegas.org online radio. Today we have with us a very special guest, a drag queen legend of Las Vegas and the world, really, and the Queen of Queens, Miss Toni James.
Hi, how are you?
How are you, honey?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being here. You look amazing. You look stunning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is radio, so you just have to believe what he says.
No, we are live on some of the cameras on social media there.
Oh, there you go.
We started doing a little bit of social media there.
I love it.
That camera is facing that way, but let me go ahead and face it this way real quick.
Okay.
Hold on.
I'll fix my hair while you do that.
Right. There we are. Okay. Awesome. Then we'll see each other on there. But welcome to Meet the Entertainer, you guys. This is a new show that's going to be all about entertainers. So we're not going to waste our time like we do a lot with Despejando. Despejando, we do give a lot of announcements. We go over like birthdays. I do want to mention just a few birthdays. Happy birthday, Frank. Happy birthday, Oscar Goodman.
Yes, it is. He's my friend.
Exactly, that I know you performed for before, so
yes, I have.
That was awesome. Daniel Herrera, happy birthday, buddy. Ted and Katie, thank you guys so much. Happy birthday to you guys too. And a very quick shout out to Temptation Sundays. Do you ever go there?
I haven't gone, but I really am gonna try to go.
We need to go.
Last year I heard it was really fun.
Yes, and it gets better and better with the years.
Okay.
Are you a fan of Brian McKnight?
Yes.
He's going to be at the Win tonight at 8 p.m.
Really?
Yes.
Are you asking me out on a date?
Oh my goodness, girl, let's go.
Papacita, yes.
Are you a fan of Cedric, the entertainer?
Yes.
Okay,
I do like Cedric.
Right. He's going to be at the House of Blues on Saturday the 23rd at, I believe at 8 p.m. So, all right. So, Miss Toni, this radio goes, and it's basically all about you.
Okay.
You're the entertainer.
Okay.
You're the star in the show, and you're the star in this particular radio show.
Okay.
So how did you come up with the stage name?
You know, years ago I was a bodybuilder. Yes, and I won a bronze medal in the 1990s Gay Games. And I was a trainer in a gym at the time, and I knew I wanted to do drag for a living at the time because I did it for years for Halloween only, and everybody was like, oh my god, you should be a drag queen. At the time I was a muscle boy, so I was like, no, I'm not doing all that. But I enjoyed it every time I did it for Halloween. Well, when I would sit at the desk as a trainer at the gym, when I decided I was going to do that, I had 10 names on a list that I wanted my drag name to be, and I had everybody that came through the door just look at that, and I said, if I had a drag name, which name would it be? And none of it was marked down there, but I made a tally of it over here so nobody could see, and almost everyone said Toni James.
And it has something to do with your real name also, right?
Well, yeah, because James is my real name. So, and this is the other thing, when I finally decided that my drag mom, actually before I decided, she was the one that said, you have to make sure that your name is androgynous, because you don't want to be walking down the street and having somebody go, hey Barbara, and you're walking with your dad, and your dad goes, what, why did they just call you Barbara, right? So she goes, Toni is perfect because Toni is a boy's name, but in print, with an I, it's a girl's name.
Smart.
My drag mama, Smokey Lipos, very smart.
Because, you know, back in our time, you know, I'm 42 years old.
Okay.
But, you know, many years ago when we were, you know, in our teens, our LGBT community wasn't as open and as expressive as it is.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So, let's see, I have a question on here, but it says, where do you see yourself in 10 years? That's supposed to be towards the end.
Okay.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years, dude?
Actually, I see myself retired in 10 years because I've been doing this for 25 years in Vegas alone.
I've been here like 30 years, myself. And I remember you from Gypsies.
Oh my God, back in the 90s.
Yeah. But you were on fire.
Well, you know
You've
what?
always been on fire, though.
You're so sweet. Thank you very much. Especially today, it's what, 160?
Exactly. But you have a beautiful. I think you're like literally the person who set the tone for like lip syncing and things like that, right?
Well, I didn't really set the tone for it, but maybe in Vegas, for a lot of entertainers that didn't have a venue to perform in, Gypsies is where I started that, the lip sync contest, and they do it almost at every club now. But that was back in 1994, and I'm really glad I did it because it did give those people an opportunity to perform. I was performing on the Strip in Kenny Kerr's show, who is actually the one who broke the ground for drag in Las Vegas back in 1977. So, but yeah, the lip sync contest did do a lot.
How can people get a hold of Miss Toni James?
They can come to my new show.
Fans everybody that's listening. If you guys are on social media, nobody's on there yet. But if you guys are listening or on YouTube or on the other Facebook pages, anybody, alguien ahí que esté, que les quieras mandar un saludo?
Yes. Ana Ramos, Guillermo Héctor Méndez desde Argentina, Yuri Jiménez Mata, Nick Coronado que dice hi.
Hi.
Thank you guys for being there. We appreciate you guys, and please share the show. This Meet the Entertainer is all in English, you guys, because Despejando's a bilingual show that recognizes community heroes, so we make it in Spanish and English.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so this is our first time going live on just straight up English.
I love being first.
Yeah, right.
So that's perfect.
Yeah, so you're breaking the ground here.
Yeah.
So you have are you a pageant queen?
You know, I've only done one pageant ever in my life, and I won that pageant, and that was in 1992 in Seattle. I was Miss Gay Seattle.
Oh, wow.
And I performed and competed against queens that had been doing drag for years. But there was something about drag, and this is my motto about drag. Whenever you hit that stage, pretend you are a girl. Sissy it up.
Yes.
That's the whole point of drag.
Yes, exactly.
I got that day one.
Yeah.
Just pretend that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, Miss Gay Seattle.
You guys here, if you guys are out there, you guys are thinking about doing drag or are in the drag scene, make sure you guys pay attention to these tips here, you guys, because they're very, very valuable, okay? You have performed with a lot of people. You have done so many venues. In all your performances that you have done, have you ever performed with somebody in particular, like an entertainer or somebody that just stood out and like treated you like royalty? Like
there were a few like that.
Besides RuPaul, we'll get into
okay,
that.
besides RuPaul,
Yes.
okay, good, because
I love RuPaul and I know how
I do
she's a sweetheart. You know what I mean?
Yes, I
so you know we're family, and when you're with family, you're gonna get treated like family.
That's right.
So we're gonna exclude her out. Right?
Okay, we'll exclude her. I performed with. I did perform with Cyndi Lauper at Gay Pride in Las Vegas years ago.
Jessica Simpson.
Jessica Simpson. How do you know all this?
I go through your bio.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and then I bring it out here so we can kind of continue the conversation.
I love that.
Yeah.
Jessica Simpson was back at House of Blues back in 1990. No, back in 2000.
Okay.
It was 2000. It was right before I did the show at the Las Vegas Hilton in 2001.
So was there one of the celebrities that treated you like that went way above and beyond to like make you feel like you're part of the team basically?
I didn't perform with him, but he performed in our theater at the Sahara Hotel when we did the 10 o'clock show and he did the 8 o'clock show, and it was James Brown.
James Brown.
Yes, he did 2 weeks at the Sahara Hotel, and he did 8 o'clock, like I said, and we did 10 o'clock, and I got in drag at 5 o'clock every night, and went to the back of the theater, because it was sold out every night. I'd go to the back of the theater, and I'd watch the show for 2 weeks straight. He was so nice, because you don't get to watch James Brown for free, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for 2 weeks in a row.
Exactly.
He was good. Little Richard was the same.
So you had a show also there at the Sahara?
It wasn't my show, but I was in the show. It was called Boylesque, and Kenny Kerr, who I talked about earlier, he was the very first drag queen to have a show on the Las Vegas Strip, and he brought it here from New Jersey, or Philadelphia actually, in 1977. He had a 6-week contract at the Silver Slipper Hotel, and he ended up staying at the Silver Slipper for 12 years. On a 6-week contract. Then he went to the Sahara, then he went to the Stardust, then the Sahara, then the Plaza. But he was actually the longest running headliner on the Las Vegas Strip.
Have you ever worked with Frank Marino?
I've never worked with Frank Marino before.
Frank Marino, you need to give her a call. Y'all need to work together.
Well, actually, I have my own show going into the House of Blues, so.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and Frank doesn't have a show right now, so.
Yeah, he's working on getting it back.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I wish him luck.
We wish him lots of love too. Yeah. When you were studying psychology in Washington University,
you really do know a lot about me.
Yeah. No, and see, the thing is that I can know about you, and then I want our listeners to know more about you too.
Okay.
So that's the whole reason for the show, is to get to know you, the real you.
I love it.
Because, we see a lot of entertainers when we go, clubs or to pay for, your venues and so forth.
Yes.
But we never get to see you deeply as a person.
I get it.
So that's what this show is all about, basically, is digging in there a little bit deeper.
So what about the psychology?
What
at the
about
University of
psychology?
Washington.
So why did you? What made you go into psychology?
Because I really like what psychology is about, and being able to talk to people and look at someone actually go deeper than the words that are coming out of their mouth, but to really understand what they're saying and just to really understand a person.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny about studying psychology for me is I went from studying psychology to wearing a dress, and only I can figure that out. So
Well, I figured. I think you might have been trying to discover yourself.
No, not at all.
No?
I just liked it, and actually, I went to the University of Washington first to become a doctor, and I did all the prerequisites. Yeah. I got great grades on everything. The only thing I couldn't do was physics for some reason, and so I couldn't. Yeah. You have to be able to do physics in order to continue to go to pre-med and all that. So
exactly.
I decided, well, I'll just do psychology.
Exactly. Oh, okay. Well, it was interesting, because when I was reading your bio, I was like, oh, psychology, So you are by far one of the best female impersonators, not just in Las Vegas, just in general. What advice do you give others that want to pursue your career, basically? Not take your crown.
It depends on what they want to do with it, because there's a lot of drag queens that just want to do drag. They just want to dress up, get attention when they go out to the clubs. They don't want to perform. They just want to get all made up and do all that. Yeah. But then there's the bar queens that want to entertain the community, which is really important, because in most cities in the United States, or anywhere actually, drag is the entertainment out in the nightclubs. Exactly. And so Las Vegas is different, because you do, or we did in the past, always have drag shows where you could make a serious living on doing drag. That's where I come from, and that's what I would want to tell them. If you want to be really serious about it, then you've got to hone your skills. You have to look your best. You have to treat people right. You have to not be a diva. Other people's make you a diva. You don't make yourself a diva. Do you know what I mean? And just be nice to people and really entertain, and be as good off stage as you are on stage as a person.
Yeah, that's amazing advice, because I think a lot of things would happen. A lot of times what happens is the diva-ness. Like, gets to the
I see it all the time.
And I see it with others too, and I just like, really?
No, I just go, bless your heart.
Exactly. That's awesome advice. And it's funny, because that's the reason why we want to know you, because we want to know that person that you are. You know what I mean? Because sometimes, especially in your career, you might come across like, oh, she doesn't want to talk to me, or she's not the type of person that's going to talk to me. Because people are
intimidated a little.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So a lot of times when that happens, we tend to be like, oh no, she's not gonna say hi to me, I don't want to waste my time and look like a fool, and you seem like you're very approachable.
I am really
approachable. Just from the very second that I saw you there,
Oh, sweet.
You just came across with a different type of light,
Well, you know what that is as well, is when you are in the entertainment business and you do meet a lot of entertainers, you do meet a lot of entertainment directors, you do meet a lot of executives at hotels, you can't go in there with an attitude.
Because you never know. The door you might be knocking on, it may be the door of opportunity.
That's right.
Going to be next,
Absolutely right.
And then sometimes I've noticed that too. Sometimes when you underestimate, or you think a little less of somebody,
Yes.
they'd be surprised and be like, well,
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that. Right. So have you ever wanted to be on RuPaul's Drag Race?
Do you know, season 2, they called me directly. They called my cell phone because the casting director at the time was an acquaintance of mine that came to our show, or at Gypsies, where I was doing Gypsies, and asked me if I could get him into Studio 54, where at the time I was the queen of Studio 54 at MGM Grand, and I would host all their special events, and so I said, sure! And I got 135 people from LA. They all flew up for a guy's birthday, and they came to the show. They got me into a limousine. We all went in like 4 limousines, or 4 buses, I'm sorry. Went to Studio 54 and did our thing. Well, he and I remained friends, and the very next year was season 2 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and he was the casting director, and he called me and said, everybody say, hey, Toni, and everybody said, hey. He goes, so I have a question for you. I said, what's that? He goes, would you please be in RuPaul's Drag Race season 2? Because we need a seasoned queen this season, and you would be perfect, and you're gonna win, but we can't really say that, but really, would you do it? And I said no. And he said, why not? I said, because my father just passed away a week ago, and I am in no condition mentally to go and do that. Because I had to go the very next week. And I just was in no mindset to do a competition of that caliber. Going through the grief of losing my father. And so I said no. But, and now I'm too old.
You're never too
I just
old.
Enjoy watching it occasionally, depending on if I know somebody in it. Like Chad Michaels, I watched his season. I watched Derek Barry's season. Coco Montrese.
Queens
like that.
We've grown up with, right?
Yes.
Very much. Okay. Is there anything in general that you've thought about to like conquer, like something in specific, and you haven't conquered yet, that you're still wanting to like go for the trophy?
Well, actually, it's happening now, and it's not a competition, but it's my show. I was telling you that I'm doing at the at Mandalay Bay.
You could tell us about it.
Yeah, it's going to be at Mandalay Bay Hotel at the House of Blues, Side B, and it's a cute venue. It seats 150, and it's a dinner show. Because right now there are no drag shows on the Strip at night. There's just the drag brunch over at Treasure Island, which is fabulous, and everybody need to go see that. Chanel is the host, and Coco Montrese is in it, and Larry Edwards, I believe, is in it, and
Hallelujah, is she still there?
No. I know exactly. You're talking about Shangela, who I love. I love Shangela.
I actually, Shangela was, as a boy walking out of the restroom one time, out of the Paris hotel.
Yeah.
And so I was walking that way, right? And at that time I was walking with the king because I was still blind from both eyes. I just recently got a surgery and started seeing out of this eye.
Oh, good.
Because I was blind completely walking around with the king.
I didn't know that.
And so I was walking to the restroom, and then I bumped into this person, and then my partner goes, "Oh my God, that's Shangela." I was like, "Who the hell is Shangela?" And then I went to go look at RuPaul.
Right.
There was a big thing there, and then that's how it came out.
Yeah, I love Shangela. She's a sweetheart.
But
I was going to say, the House of Blues, that is the goal for me coming to Vegas was to be in a show. I thought I'd only be here for 3 months. Okay. And here's 25 years. This month has been 25 years, my 25th anniversary of performing on the Strip. And I always wanted to have my own show. So at the House of Blues, that's my very own show. It's called Drag Cuisine. It's going to be next Saturday is the debut. Okay. So the 27th, August 3rd, and August 10th. And if we sell those 3 shows out, they're going to make my show permanent. So you guys go buy tickets at the House of Blues. The show is called Drag Cuisine.
I believe the first night you're sold out, right?
I believe it is.
Yeah, because I tried to get tickets for it, and I think it was sold out.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'll try the next day.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's 3 Saturdays in a row.
Awesome.
So everybody come get tickets and go. And you eat dinner.
Exactly.
We have a great dinner menu. It's tapas style.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and all you can drink.
Yeah. Oh, included?
Yeah, well, something like that. Go get a ticket and they'll tell you everything. Yeah, it's like that, but you're gonna, it's more bang for your buck. Food, drink, and a show.
And the most important thing is the entertainment.
Yes, and the entertainment is going to be really good.
Is there a certain kind of queen that you classify yourself as?
Entertainer.
As entertainer.
Yeah, like people back in the day, I used to always tell people I'm not a drag queen. Yeah. I'm a drag entertainer.
Exactly.
And they were like, yeah, sure, you're a drag queen. Well, what they realized was if I wasn't doing a show, then they never saw me in drag.
Oh.
It was only when they saw me in drag that I had either done a show or I was about to do a show.
Yeah.
But I never was at home and went, oh, I think I'm going to go out and drag tonight. I never, in all the years doing drag, have I ever done that. So now they know I really am a drag entertainer.
Or a female impersonator.
A female impersonator.
Exactly. We were having this conversation right before you got here because Monica was asking me, is she a drag queen or a female impersonator, or what is she? And I said, yeah, she's more classified as a female impersonator. Because an entertainer is more about that, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
And you've been to like many TV shows.
Nos está viendo, se han acoplado Mónica Borinelli y David Miranda.
Hi, David. And thank you all that are listening on the radio. We appreciate you guys being there. You've been on many TV shows like TV Inc. or MTV's Famous Faces, and Inc. and so forth. Is there like a particular show that most captivated you that you felt so at home with?
Oh God. You know the one, I think it was I Want a Famous Face, which really featured my best friend at the time, Jesse Guerin, who is the official Elvis impersonator for the mayor, for Oscar Goodman, and for now his wife Carolyn. But he was my best friend, and so I was on the TV show with him. But it felt really at home because we actually lived together at the time, and we were able to feed off of each other really great. So that would have to be the show that I like that one. And then also my friend Dirk Berman, who was a punk rocker, because you don't know this about me. My famous place to hang out is the Double Down Saloon, and that's a punk rock bar. And my friend Dirk Berman had a band called the Berman for years and years and years. I was on his TV show called Bad Ink for the first episode.
Oh wow!
And that was really fun because he's a good friend. And
so really would you go back to any one of those particular shows?
No, I think nowadays I just concentrate on doing my own show.
You want to focus on that?
Because I would really love to have everything work out with the House of Blues and then go and create a reality TV show about our show.
Exactly, and I think
it would be really good.
It would be amazing. I think you got it, and we'll make sure that we stand behind you. And if you ever need like a house or a platform, to promote, then feel free to use this.
I love you for that. Thank you so much.
Okay, for people that are like in love with reality TV shows and things like that, what advice do you give them? Because you've been in this, in the reality TV shows and so forth, and you know that a lot of times you have to create drama for them. You know what I mean?
That's right.
To get more ratings.
That's right.
So what advice would you give that person that doesn't know anything about TV at all besides watching it?
Well, what they have to really know is that a lot of those reality TV shows, they'll say to you, go to that person and bring up this topic. And that's all they tell you.
Exactly.
In doing that, you have to go and be yourself about whatever they say to you. Don't do it for the TV, don't do it, just be yourself. Because a lot of people are naturally real dramatic, but there's a lot of people that are really subdued, and if you're just yourself in whatever it is you do, that's what's going to come across the best. And if they like it, then that's what's going to create your success. Don't pretend to be something you're not.
Like, for instance, Nene Leakes.
Oh, I love her.
You know her personally?
No, I don't.
Okay, but do you think she creates all that, or she is like that?
She is like that.
Oh, okay.
That's how she is.
Yeah, because She was doing a little bit there at the what was it at the show at New York with Edie.
Humanity.
Humanity.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have Edie here soon too.
I love Edie.
I think she might do the next show if I'm not 100% mistaken. But I hope she does the next show, and I will definitely reach out to her too.
Yeah, and you reach out to her, and if you don't, then you let me know, and I'll call her personally.
Right.
Yeah, I will.
She's amazing. She's always been very approachable, just like you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The type of person that you say hi to or you approach, and you guys are like, yeah,
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
I got you. He was on vacation, I think. That's what you told me, or else he would have probably been here at this particular show tonight.
I love it.
Yeah.
No, I really do. I have a lot of love and respect for you.
Right?
Yeah.
So we already talked about the House of Blues basically, and we'll probably touch more on it if we need to, you know what I mean? Because, we have a whole hour to kill here. What time is it, Monica?
No hay nadie más que esté mirando.
No te digo que quieras.
Ahora, no, yo te aviso.
Oh, okay.
Son 11:30.
She's like, I'll tell you if it's time to wrap it up. You've also done a lot of production yourself, right?
Yes.
When you were at the Las Vegas Hilton, what happened with Las Vegas Hilton, and how do you feel it worked out for you?
The Las Vegas Hilton was a great experience. I had 30 people in the cast.
Mm-hmm.
I headlined in my show, and the producer is my best friend to this day. But he was actually the marketing director for what did you call that? The monorail, the Star Trek, the Experience.
The Experience.
And he's the one that got us into the venue. We played the Star Theater where Elvis played and all that. And I brought a lot of my friends in from across the country to be in the show because they are my friends, and I knew they would be good. I didn't have to worry about anything. We did the show. 1,000 people came to it.
Yeah.
We started negotiating with one of the hotels on the Strip, and 2 weeks later, 9/11 happened. And so you know how that stopped everything.
Yeah.
And so by the time we went back to negotiate, they were looking for something different.
Yeah.
And everything changed in Vegas, as it always does. So
it was sad. I remember I was working at the Better Business Bureau at that time, and I experienced the whole traumatic
that was
change
just
that happened there. You're a very talented person, right? I saw a wig that you created handmade for the new show.
I didn't do it. My friend Stephen Wayne did it.
Oh, okay.
Who was in?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Was in Divas when Divas was open. He did share.
But do you do wigs and do you do things like that?
I don't. I have other people doing them.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not really good. If I have to, I will.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you
but
have to, right?
If I want it done correctly, I have somebody else who's really talented at that.
How did you get into performing? Was there somebody that inspired you?
I started performing at the age of 13, actually, because I was in a drum and bugle corps in Seattle, Washington, called the Seattle Imperials, and I was a drummer for the first 4 years, and then I decided I wanted to be a rifle twirler in the color guard with the girls.
Yeah.
And so they let 4 guys become a part of the color guard and the twirling, and that's all she wrote. Like, after that, learning how to do all the precision with the rifles, then we went to a world champion team called the Madison Scouts in Madison, Wisconsin, which was an all-male drum and bugle corps. And I was there for 3 years, and the 3rd year I was there, I became captain of the team, and we won the best twirling unit in the world that year.
What is twirling?
It's parade rifles, batons, flags, sabers.
So it's like the what do you call it?
Manipulation.
Yes, there you go. There you go. Okay. I thought it was. At first, I was thinking it was twerky.
Or a black person spinning something around. Color guard.
Yeah, like color guard or something. You know, I get a little bit mixed up with that sometimes. Some of your talents, some of your traits that you possess as a person. Do you think you might have picked those up from like your mom or?
I absolutely did. Absolutely, my mom and my dad actually.
Yeah.
My dad was a football player, and he went went on to the NFL, and he went to spring training and broke his shoulder, and so that was the end of his career. But my dad was the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. His laugh was infectious. He was very kind. My mom just passed away actually a couple of months ago, and so but when she was alive, we used to call her the Black Mother Teresa, because she was so good to people. She made you feel special no matter who you were. I'm the oldest of 6, and we all knew we were her favorite. She made us all feel like that, but we knew that she just loved us all. So it was my upbringing like that, and that's very lucky because.
And I think upbringing like that with a very, close family and things like that is what makes you a better human being.
I agree.
And it makes you more, like I said, when I first met you just there in person, because I've seen you perform before, but it's one thing to see the person perform, but it's another thing to actually meet them in person, like here, and get to know their the way they speak, their manners, their everything, and you just seem like you're just an amazing, beautiful.
Well, I try to be. It's easier to be nice than it is to be mean, and so I just,
we all have that little meanness in us.
Well, I can be now. Trust me. I always tell people, as nice as I am, is as mean as I can be. So let's just be nice.
Exactly. Let's play it nice. Tell me about one of the most memorable places that you might have performed at.
I have so many good memories of performing in places like Meany Theater in Seattle, the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle, Carnegie Hall in New York City. One of the best was performing, and RuPaul was the only other drag performer, but her and I, separately, but we performed at Central Park after the Gay Pride Parade. We performed at the rally, and there were 250,000 people in the park watching. And that, I will never forget it, and especially because it was for the 25th anniversary of Stonewall.
Oh, wow.
So it made it really special, Liza Minnelli performed that day on the same stage, Carol Channing, RuPaul, and Toni James.
Después le pediría que cante un pedacito, si puede ser.
Do you sing?
Poquito.
Poquito? Monica wants to see it. If
No.
you want to see a little bit. No, Monica.
We do not want them to turn the volume down. Well, actually, you know what? I can sing just a little bit, but I never do in the shows as a skit or anything, because I feel like you should do what you're best at. When you're doing a show, people have to pay for that. You should do what you're best at. Don't do what people are going to go, why did they do that? That's not good.
It's not cute.
Now, if I make a joke about it and singing, that's a different thing.
Exactly.
But not seriously.
You've been an MC for a lot of places, right?
Oh, yeah.
You've also done a lot of things with, fundraisers and things like that, with AFAN, with, what is it?
Golden Rainbow.
Why is it that you do all this type of events? Like, is it self-gratifying, to...
It's doing something for the community and giving back your time to do something so good for your community and raising money for such a great cause. And I told somebody that they asked me to do a fundraiser once, and I said, I'm so sorry, but I can't because I'm busy with something else. And they said, well, you need to support your community and do more. I said, honey, if I have already done more fundraisers to get myself into heaven. I am not worried about that at all. I just can't do this one. But if you have another one in the future, and he did, and I did it, but I just couldn't do that one. But I've done, when I was Miss Gay Seattle, to give you an example, that was back in '92, but every weekend I either did a fundraiser or I was a part of somebody else's fundraiser for a whole year.
Oh wow, it could be.
So I traveled a lot.
Because when you do a lot of fundraisers, it is like time consuming too.
It is time consuming, but you just, especially like the Seattle pageant, is really community oriented, and you're voted in by your community.
Yeah.
That's how you win. It's not like you have a panel of judges. People actually come out and vote for you to win, so that you can support the community and do fundraising and do all of that.
Do you consider yourself a religious person?
I'm not religious. However,
I only asked because you said about going to heaven.
Oh yeah. However, I do believe in God, and I do believe that you just have to be right. Like, you don't have to always go to church. Although we grew up in the church, and when I go back to visit my family in D.C., we go to church. But that's not something I do every Sunday, which is what I think being religious, you do that all the time. But yeah, I do love believing in a higher power.
Yeah, me too. I don't go to church often either, you know, and every now and then when I do go to church though, I love the feeling.
I do too.
It's like a little bit of a renewal of a spirit type of thing.
I'm not the type of person to go to church just because, oh God, I need your help.
Yeah.
You know, no.
Yeah.
You know, I talk to God every day.
Yeah.
In some way. Do you know what I mean?
Like, I went to church recently only to like say thank you because of the surgery and so forth, you know what I mean? I was like, thank you so much.
There you
because
go.
I'm back into the scene world.
There you go.
Like,
There you go.
It was 6 years that I was in the almost complete darkness, you know what I mean?
Oh,
so I was in here and I'd be looking at stuff like this, like, you know what I mean? That's how I was able to like kind of barely see, and half of the time, half of the letters were like swinging side to side. It seemed like so. Yeah,
that's a blessing.
Yeah,
it's a blessing.
It was a huge blessing for me. Your family, have you? Was all your family accepting of you when you came out?
Yes. My father had a problem with it for about a day. And he was mad. He didn't know he was really mad. Yeah. He brought it up at the dinner table. I ended up getting up from the dinner table and leaving the house and getting in my car and going somewhere else. And he just couldn't have, but he was really macho.
Yeah.
So he didn't understand it, but someone went to him and said, look, this is the way it is. As they did with my mom as well, because I didn't know this, because she always made me feel like loved and everything. Yeah. She had a problem with it at one point, and her best friend's brother was gay, and her best friend loved her brother, and they did everything together, and she sat my mom down and said, look, you like my brother, right? Oh, I love him so much. He's gay. And she was like, what? She was like, yeah, so, you know, James is James.
Yeah.
So yeah, my mom was really cool. Very supportive. She saw me perform, you know, in drag shows. She saw me at the Hilton. She saw me in Kenny Kershaw.
Was she one of your fans?
Oh, she loved it. Although, you know what she said? After she saw me for the very first time in Kenny Kershaw doing Diana Ross, at the end of the show, she goes, oh my God, James, you were so good. It's so beautiful. She goes, but you know what? You don't look like Diana Ross. You look like me.
Yeah. Is there a favorite entertainer that you prefer the most, that you perform the best to, or that you?
Oh, that I like to perform the best to? Diana Ross. Yeah, I really do. Her and actually Erykah Badu, but like a lot of people don't know who Erykah Badu, although she has her fan base. But like the typical person in a grocery store, if you went up to her and said, do you know who Erykah Badu is? They'll probably go, no. Depending on the grocery store in the area you went to. But everybody knows Diana Ross, and she's really easy to imitate.
Is there a certain song that captures you the most?
I love most of Diana Ross's music, especially when she was with the Supremes.
I'm Coming Out.
I love I'm Coming Out. I do love that song. And Ain't No Mountain High Enough, I love that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and The Boss, and Remember Me. And I could just go on about
all
about
that.
5 minutes.
5 minutes? Alright, thank you. Is there a particular I already asked you this. Is there do you have any like requirements when you go onto a stage? You know, like make sure this is this and that is that, you know?
Oh,
there's some performers that are very diva-ish, and it's like, oh, make sure I have water here, make sure I have flour
like that.
here. Yeah, setup.
They call those riders, like you have a list of things. The only thing I'm really particular about, if they can make it happen, is to have my own dressing room. And the only reason I like that is I like peace and quiet. I like to concentrate on what I have to do because I'm an MC, and I have to really, you know, I am constantly thinking of new things to say. In fact, I have 16 new jokes that I wrote from at Thanksgiving for the new show, for the House of Blues, that I've still got to study and make perfect by next Saturday.
Do you want to tell us one of them?
I don't know that I can tell those jokes.
Our audience is usually all, you know, adults, you know. I doubt a mom would be like, oh, don't be listening to Ryan. Because he drops bombs like crazy. There's times when I do drop, you know, some curse words, even though I am not the type of person that's cussing, you know, like a sailor like that.
Right.
But every now and then I do. I'm like, oops. Yeah. But so obviously it's going to be a show that's going to have singing. It's going to have a little bit of dancing, probably jokes.
Yeah, we're gonna. It's a variety of stuff. We're gonna have some look-alike stuff. We're gonna have production numbers. We're gonna have me as the MC cracking jokes. We're gonna have audience participation.
Exactly.
And I'm actually, for all the straight people, bringing them a surprise entertainer, because, you know, a lot of women are the ones that bring their husbands or their boyfriends to drag shows, and the husbands and boyfriends really don't want to go to a drag show.
Yeah.
So for them, I have a real woman performing in the show, and she's a burlesque entertainer, and she's an international champion at it, and she's absolutely amazing. I tell all the queens in the show, you guys better step up your game, because Miss Kalani Coconuts is going to let you have it. If you don't, she's fabulous.
So who's your lineup?
It's myself and Derek Barry, who is an international drag superstar who does the best Britney ever in the world out of anyone. I also have Kalani Coconuts. I have Nebraska Thunderfuck, and that's really her name. And she's
been on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes, Nebraska has been. And actually, Nebraska is like, I describe her as Pamela Anderson if she was stretched out 7 feet tall, because that's how she's just so big and big old tits and skinny and beautiful, and just he's everything I need in that show for what he does. Then I have Mirage. You know Mirage Amaro? She's a local queen, and she does a lot of bar entertaining, but she's so fabulous. She really is, and she's very almost club kid-like.
Yeah, where has she performed at?
Charlie's,
Free Zone, I think, at one point.
Free Zone at one point. Charlie's, Hamburger Mary's, I guess, a couple of times. She's mainly a Charlie's queen now. But she's in my show. And then the other one is Reese's. And Reese's is fairly new at drag, but Reese's has such a drive and is such a good person.
Were you the one who handpicked everybody?
Yes.
Because this is your production show,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Well, I'm very excited for you, and I know it's going to go well for you. You have our blessing.
Thank you. That's right.
The crystals never lie.
That's right.
But I do sincerely wish you the best. Like I said, if you ever need anything to promote, like the show itself, just skip it down towards me, and then I'll go ahead and like reproduce them on the desk behind it. You know what I mean?
Thank you. So, I really would appreciate that.
Yeah, so you have our open door, and like I said, if you ever want to come back and share anything else that you have to, you know what I mean? Additional, whatever you're going to do. You know what I mean?
Just let you know. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I had a lot of fun.
Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. Meet the Entertainer, you guys, with the wonderful, beautiful, fabulous. Did I forget anything? Miss Toni James.
Shoot. Thank you so much.
We appreciate you guys being there. If you guys see this show, please make sure you guys share it. Make sure you guys follow us everywhere on social media as Despejando LV for Las Vegas. And where could people follow you?
They can follow me at Toni James on Facebook. I'm also on Instagram under Toni James. And then, but more than that, come to my show at the House of Blues, yes. July 27th, August 3rd, August 10th. If we sell it out, they're going to make it permanent. Exactly. And so come and have a great time.
All right, you guys all heard that. Make sure you guys stay tuned. If you guys have any questions, make sure you guys go see this recording on YouTube. It'll be there. And then tomorrow it'll replay at noon, I believe. So thank you guys for being here with us on Despejando via Magiclatinosvegas.org, you guys. We appreciate you, we love you, and please be nice out there, okay?